Welcome to Thursday, and it's great to have you here. It's great to be back. It's great to see all your faces. I'm gonna go to Facebook in a second so I can see you. I'm gonna ask if Angela and uh,
Yes.
can go to Facebook and bring over some of the questions. And with that, we have Lauren today who's going to be doing a small mini demonstration. And Letiza, who else is going to be?
There will be Giovanni, Sabine, Angela, Silvia maybe, and some others. So maybe Erkin as a guest, and who is available. We try to be very, very quick today.
Okay. And you're all invited to certainly paint along, and we'll show your work at the very end. That's always exciting to see what you come up with as well. Letiza, we're going to start with
Lauren.
Lauren.
Lauren the first,
Yeah.
so he's a volunteer. Welcome, Lauren.
Welcome, Lauren.
So Lauren
Thank
McCracken.
you. Thank you so much. It's such a treat to be here. I have probably about 2.5 hours worth of material. I'm going to try to squeeze in about 20 minutes here. As John knows, that I am absolutely the biggest fan of Daniel Smith masking fluid in the universe. I use about a gallon a month, but it's like everything else in the art material world. If you spend the time to learn its characteristics, it will do magic for you. If you just pick it up and just try to jump into it, you're going to be awash at sea. And when I got the contact from Ashley to come, she said, show us how you save the whites. And I said, well, saving the whites is only about that much of the story. So I'm going to try to expand that a little bit within the time that I have, because saving the whites is not nearly as important sometimes as saving something in white that you may paint later. I masked that whole tree so I can turn this upside down and do the sky as a wash. And so then I could come back, and not having lost all of the darks in the tree, I could then go back and remask some of the limbs that are coming out at me. And then as I painted them, I don't have to paint them quite as dark as I would have otherwise. So I want to make the point is that masking fluid is incredibly versatile. It's not just for saving whites. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about is storing your masking fluid. And the last thing you want to do with a bottle of Daniel Smith masking fluid is to shake it up. The minute you get oxygen in it, it starts to solidify, and you just cut the life of it in two. So what I do is I store it upside down in a piece of styrofoam. It's just so simple and so easy to do. And as you can see, I store these are my working. If I was painting today, these would be the working brushes that I'd be using today. And so all of that is just right next to my palette, right there where I know where it is. I don't even have to think twice about it. And of course, I'm a Scotsman, and so making this with a piece of styrofoam and a piece of mat board, I can replace them anytime I need it, and change the shape of them anytime I need it, and the price is right. So anyway, I just want to pass. Oh, and I want to. I'm not going to go a lot into talking about the little plastic tip, because John has done that on several occasions out there. But I'm never without. I usually have about 6 of these little plastics tips lined up here in the styrofoam. Uh, but that's a great tool. But there are several other applicating tools I want to talk about today. And let me just go right into that. One of the best applicating tools out there is the old paper clip, because one of the things that, as a realist painter like I am, I want all the little details and the dots and the lines and the things like that. And sometimes this may be and again, the price is right. Everybody's got a half a dozen of these paper clips lying around, but and just sometimes in order to do the right size dot on the side of a little teapot like I have back in the background back there, it might just take a piece of wire uh, dipped in your masking fluid. And so what I do is I always have a little post-it note handy, and I put out a drop of my masking fluid onto that, and then I dip the tip of my wire into that big blob, uh, and then use that. Now, the thing that here's what I learned from all of my students over the years of teaching workshops is that it, it's not how much masking fluid you put on, it's how even the coating is. And, the famous architect Mies van der Rohe, quoting Nietzsche, less is more. The thinner you can make that masking fluid, the more evenly it will dry and the easier it will be to remove. So that great big blob that you've got sitting there that's going to take 2 days to dry, if you could just take the end of a paper towel and tear it so it's got all these hairs and soak up as much of that masking fluid as possible to leave the thinnest layer across there. Am I doing okay, John?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. I think you'll jump in here if I say something that I shouldn't. But I want to be sure that everybody knows one particular tool out there that most people don't think about as uh, as an application device for masking fluid. This is a ruling pen, and I hope all of you know what a ruling pen is. It's made for doing very, very, very fine lines, and it comes in very simple. It comes with fancy handles and all that. The one I use, I've had since 1965 when I used this when I was going off to architecture school, and this is the Cadillac of of uh, of ruling pens. It's called an alligator because it opens like an alligator's mouth, and you can
Wow.
clean it. So
Wow.
so the way you find these is go on the internet and find where Etsy or somebody is selling an old set for $8. They don't. I don't even know they make these anymore. But if you can find a whole set of mechanical tools out there on the internet for just a few dollars, and if you don't save anything, find one that has an alligator in it because it makes a huge difference when you clean. You can just wipe it clean in 10 seconds rather than having to fight down between those two levers there. Uh, and the other great thing about when you're using a ruling pen, it is so easy to load because you just take the black cap off and hold it there and put a drop in between those two leaves, and it's loaded. All you've got to do then is adjust those leaves to the width that you want. And this would be the way I would use this. I draw with that ruling pen, and so you can see in this plastic bag that I have here, I drew all of these outlines here, and then while I was doing that, I put in where I wanted to save the whites. But then this is not black in here. This is neutral tint used as a black. And I use that because if I use neutral tint as dark as I can get it, I know that against the McCracken black, it's going to look dark gray. Does that make sense? Because the McCracken black is so much more dense than the neutral tint. And then once I get all of this in place. Of course, the background is the thing I do last. But then I just use a damp brush and come along and kill that high white in the areas that I wanted. But I'm keeping that high white here, but along that back, which I want to push back, I just kill that white line with just a little bit of water and picking up just a little bit of that neutral tint. So now, it probably can't see it in here, but I've used lots and lots of dots using the side of the ruling pen to pick up all the rough highlights in the surface of the orange. Oranges and lemons are great just making dots with your neutral tint. I mean, with your masking fluid. The painting in the background here, the silver and crystal, probably has more masking fluid on it than any other painting I've ever done. This is an elephant sheath. This is a double imperial, and the lace has 2 and 3 layers of lace behind all of those openings in it. So all of that at some point was masked, and then as I took it off, and the way I work is that top of that teapot might be a morning's painting. That spout may be the afternoon's painting. So I would mask all of that, and I mask that with Nishibon tape, the big shape, and then take the masking fluid and do the details in the silver. So are we good for about 3 more minutes, gang?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to talk about is how do you get the masking fluid off of your paper without damaging your paper. For years and years and years, we've all used the rubber cement eraser, which over time gets about as hard as a brick. And even in its brand new form, you risk roughing up the paper and getting the hairs of the paper standing up. So I found years and years ago, this is going to be the craziest thing you ever heard of. This is called sanding belt cleaner. And it, Amazon, any place that has factories that use a great big sanding belt, like in a furniture manufacturer or anything like that, it comes in great big blocks, and you push it against these big sanding belts to clean them. But you can also buy it in small packages. A package of 5 of these at Amazon cost about $7. A package of 10 of them cost about $8. So, get with 2 or 3 of these will last you a lifetime. So get with your friends and or just buy the pack and share it with them. That's the easiest way to do it. And it cuts relatively easily with a really, really sharp X-Acto. And so you're able to form these little bitty edges so you can pick up those little bitty bits of the masking fluid that you wouldn't have gotten the first time around. So with that, I will defer back to questions.
Could you repeat the name of this removing tool?
It has 2 names. It is called sanding belt cleaner.
Sanding belt.
It's also referred to as abrasive belt cleaner.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
But the thing I want to point out is how malleable it is. And so it's so soft that it moves with your paper and will move over your paper so much easier than that hard edge on this thing that tends to scrape up the paper.
Mhm.
Lauren, can you talk a little bit about the wibble wobble that masking fluid leaves, and when you pull it off, how you straighten your lines and get your perfect detail? Do you soften the edges? How do you do that?
Well, yes, and yes. Because one of the great things about realism is you have lots of hard straight edges, and the easiest way to get that is with the ruling pen on a straight edge. And I use a plastic triangle as a straight edge, and I put it up on pennies so that as I'm drawing my masking fluid along, it doesn't bleed under it. The edge of the plastic is raised above the paper, and the pennies are set back so they don't engage each other. So I don't have rough edges once I put it down that way. Now, the next question you have though is soft edges. Yeah, I do a lot of soft edges like this highlight on this red pear. I will even lose almost all of the white just so I can get that soft edge so that you know it's not mechanical. Now, up here, I'm going to keep that hard edge to reinforce the metallic nature of the silver. And I'm going to keep that hard edge of the edges of the glass, but working in the glass, I'm going to soften those edges in there because they're looking through that you may be looking through 2 or 3 layers of glass. And so the further you go into the glass, the softer the light is. Now,
Laura.
I want hard edges on the lace down here. So I will take along the embroidery line in there and I will mask all of that. And then I will paint all the shadows and all the black and everything. And then I'll come back and fill in, usually with just a wet brush, using the paint that's already in the lace to soften the edges of the lace and to fill in the shadows in the lace.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we go next to Giovanni, so we can explain something better. He can show something.
Thank you, Lauren.
This is the real bottom.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you,
Also,
Lauren, very much. This is the real bottle that comes with 5 of these plastic tips.
yeah, it's the beautiful bottle. And starting with little tips, it's very important, Lori, to don't shake the bottle for the higher bubble inside. And using for the detailing and cutting my bottle with the modeling tools. In this case, for create 45-degree angles for the best resolution and apply my masking fluid for the detail, or using the tips. In this case, it's normal, or cutting in the 45 degrees. And it's important when using these tips, this big suggestion from Lauren, use the masking, the tape for block this part.
Thanks.
And thank Lauren for this suggestion. I use for the detailing. And another tips, when I'm using the tips, I'm cutting in this mode. It's very short, and I'm using my pins for create this small part and create the similar part for creating a little detailing or big detailing in anywhere else. And another tips, I'm using my metallics marks and using the masking brush. But before this, is very important to save your brush with the soap, and the tips for this is not shaking in this mode for not create the bubbles, but only for the point brush, only one tips forward and after rotate for create the film inside in the brush, and using this for hide the tails if you prefer, or use the metallic paper clips suggestion Lauren. I love both the system. Most important, when you clean your brush in the water, don't use the water for watercolor. It's very, very important.
Yeah, there are two separate.
There two separate. It's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Another tips is use my pen, glass pen for the lettering, for masking during the lettering, and use in this mode I opening the caps and put inside and writing very, very fine details. And when I put the pen waiting the gravity, the masking fluid go down and continues the writing. And cleaning my pen. And another tip, obviously, is my collection of ruling pen. And I prefer in this case, don't put inside in the bottle, but using the flat brush for, or the bottle in the suggestion Lori, using the flat brush is the same, apply with the soap one forward and one back and down, with apply the films, and after this apply in my ruling pen in this mode and obtain this, and cleaning immediately with the brush. Don't use the towel because when you use the towel or when put inside the ruling pen in the bottle, when you use the towel, lose the more 15% of products in the towels. And using my ruling pen for this, or my line ruler for precision line.
Show them how you can adjust the width of that.
Yeah.
No. Use the knurl on the side. There you go.
Oh, yeah. For the more thickness, I use this rotation and apply and use it for fine line, very, very fine. Use the zoom.
It's great. If you want to save those telephone wires across your landscape painting, it's perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And after this, when drying, obviously, it's very caramelized when drying. And after this, I painting. Oh, sorry, using it clean water. Apply my color and show it. It's very, very. In this case, for example, for the detailing, I use the brush, but the brush is very, very fine brush strokes. It's very easy to remove, but I prefer I have the more thickness for more easily removing. And after this, I use another color for example.
Secrets revealed.
Yeah. And after this, I remove when dry. And one of the question people asking me for the masking fluid, is possible to apply the masking fluid on top of the color? Yes, for me it is. But for me, I'm studying and checking the color with low staining and high staining. For example, this Rose Med Permanent is no staining color, and I remove after. Probably the masking fluid remove the color because it's a no staining color. And if phthalo blue turquoise with high staining color, I use very, very gently. And don't remove very strong the color. It's very, very different.
Giovanni,
It's
if
very,
you were to use this uh, rubberoid product here, you would take off a lot less of the pigment with this.
oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
That gets pretty hard pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's important don't use the finger. Not use the finger because it's very,
Right.
very bad for the painting in the future because the grease inside the finger is comparing after the future. And another tip is why toothbrush and apply for this is very easy for use and use for in this case for example when I painted the waves on the sea for obtain or the snow in the tree and apply in this mode is very very important. But just any very very tips for the masking fluid and I now show the one of my painting when I abuse the masking fluid on top. For example, I use in this part not about I use only for the white and for the many layers. In this case, I use the masking fluid for obtain many layers of green and blue in this part. But I use a lot of dots for masking fluid, and in this case, don't need to lose the edges because I need for the strong edges, strong light, and the dot by dot with my glass pen or brush is very very perfect. In this case, don't use the ruling pen for the line, but only the brush. Thank you.
Fantastic, Giovanni.
Thank you. So next one will be, thank you, Giovanni, will be Sabine. Sabine from Switzerland.
Hi, Sabine.
Together.
Hello, Sabina.
And I want to show you it was so nice to see Lauren and Giovanni. And I prepare some things for you. And first of all, I want to say you to control the masking fluid, you just need a test on the paper. When your paper is not perfect, you can forget it. Never put it on wet paper.
Yeah.
You don't can put it out. Never remove from wet paper, so you don't have paper. Never blow dry with hot air. When you blow with hot air, the masking fluid go inside the paper. Never apply in the hot sun. It's the same reason. And never dilute with water. When you dilute with water, the masking fluid go into the paper. And never leave it on the paper for longer than 24 hours. When you leave it for more of 24 hours, you must have a very good paper because the chance for some mistakes in the paper is high. And carefully remove from dry paper. And that's all. But I have so much never, and carefully, I must say, it's a beautiful medium. I just love the masking fluid. And I have some stuff on my masking fluid. It's nurse stuff. I just look for the end. No, I can show you, but that's perfect for me. I can work with you see, the bubble comes when I shake it and it's air inside.
Absolutely.
You can put it on and can make some lines, but I also I use a color shaper. It's silicone, and you can clean it very well. And you can take fine lines too. I use it, I'll show you. See, I use it just here to make that nice hortensia. And I use the edges to make the fine lines. You can just draw with it. It's very nice. And to make some soft edges, I use a sponge and a little bit water, and though you can make it very, very soft. And I love to make such soft edges. And you can take a brush and you can make very nice spring trees. And some flowers I prepare. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sabina.
That's wonderful. Thanks for
Will
being.
be Angela. Angela, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Angela.
Well, here I have a painting, and I think Ethel is going to show a slideshow maybe.
Yes.
But I wanted to show this painting, which was done exactly like this. I put the masking fluid here first, and then painted dark colors around it. Okay, and it was great. But I made one of the mistakes that Sabine said I shouldn't do, or Giovanni also, and Lauren. And I removed the masking fluid, but there was some remaining that I didn't realize. So I tried removing it after quite a bit of time and with my fingers, and look at what happened. And you see how yellow it is? That's a mistake.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you to show.
Yeah, and so here you see in several places, I hadn't realized that there was masking fluid and I left it there, but no, when I removed it, so how do I fix this? I don't know. I was trying to, to use this knife to scratch the paper, but that damages the paper.
You'll put watercolor ground over it, Angela.
Exactly. That's the other thing I was going to say. So you have watercolor ground, here the titanium white. You can put white titanium very carefully with a small brush, and then paint over it or leave it white. And this also could be transparent and then paint it. No, this is the titanium white and this is transparent. But here, for example, because the edges were very sharp, I just wetted the other side, like there was this ultramarine blue. So I wetted it a little and so had it come inside, so it didn't seem so hard, the edges. And to make also one way, if you have big surfaces that you have masked and you don't want the hard edges, one possible thing is to make like little dots. I will do it in this other painting. In this other painting, it's very sharp edges. Can you see? So I was starting to show you how you see, you just wet the sides and then bring them in a little bit. So that here I did that. Can you see? It's softer. Or another possibility, that's if you use a lot of color like me. Otherwise, there's the possibility of doing like little dots with a dark color. You should wet it first and then make little dots that then will like unite with each other. So let me take a little bit of this dark color. It's like stitching, you know. There are several ways of I don't know if it's visible, maybe it's too far. So there are several ways of removing the hard edges of this masking fluid. It's hardly visible, right? Ah, here, a little bit. Yes. Sorry, this way. And here is where I took a little bit of the color around it and then put it in here. I don't know, I wanted to show one or two paintings. I don't know if Ethel has them ready.
Yeah, I'll do the share screen now.
Very quickly.
Here we go. I started with this piece, Angela.
Yes.
I
Okay.
excluded the heart piece.
Yeah, I wanted to explain here, for example, I masked the leaves at the bottom, and then when the background was done, then I painted that. So that's possible. It's like many of us do. So masking an area and then painting inside it, because the surrounding areas are too dark. You cannot isolate that. It would be too difficult. And around the fish, there is this like dot thing to make it a bit softer. Thank you. The next one, please. That is the whole area of the flower was masked. It was a huge area, but it was necessary to do the rest. And then, well, you can apply some color for the to not leave it so white. And the petals were also masked. So it was the big flower and the trunk, and then the petals. And the last one?
The last one, I put this.
Yeah. This I applied, in this case I left it like that. It was a seascape. So I just made some random lines, and I think they give a lot of brightness to the colors, and I like it the way it is. I could have softened the edges, but in this case I like it like this. So there are different ways of applying the masking fluid. It has many possibilities. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. So now we leave Europe, we go to Brazil, we go to Sylvia.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry for my voice. I've got a flu from Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I don't use much, but I love on Christmas landscapes. The thing that I think it's beautiful is like using for this effect. Gio showed you. I do like this. I put it here directly, and after wrinkle, and there will be millions of micro micro little snowflakes here, as I did here. The other way is like with the point, applying without shaking. I always have bubbles, so I have the paper just to test before. And I love to, draw very, very delicate with, look, always happen, with the, the tip. And as it is not a precise landscape, so I can draw very, very carefully and slowly, and it's amazing. You don't have to stress. It's something that makes me very happy. I think about the snow on the trees, branches, and the thing is, you have to be very, very calm so you don't have the bubbles. You just delicate. Okay, and then
So,
yes.
Sylvia, are you
So,
working on
yes.
paper or do you
Yes,
have a
yes.
certain form?
So yes, sorry, let me show you. It's watercolor paper. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one I just made, and then this one is completely dry. Okay. And now I will paint here so you can see how it is, like French ultramarine I'm mixing here, and amethyst. So we have the winter sky. As it is, it's very small area, so I go directly, sorry guys for this voice, on the paper, more blue. Hope you can see. The result will be this. Okay, very, very thin snowflakes, which I will show you after it dries. So be the last one. And okay, it's starting to appear. I don't know if you can see in here. It's lighter. I love the effects because also I'm using French ultramarine, and French ultramarine with amethyst gives me a beautiful granulation. So besides the masking fluid, I have the granulation of the pigment, which is very nice. So this I will let it dry and take it out, the masking fluid, so you can see in the end of the session, hope, because here today it's very warm and dry, so I think it will work. Okay. And then the background trees. And yeah, and then now I will wait it until it's dried and we'll show you in the end. Okay, because I don't want to put a hair dryer here unless it's completely necessary, but I think the weather is good for this.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
So now we
Thank you, Letty.
we come back to California
Yes.
with coffee. Next one.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Welcome to
Thank you.
You, Sylvia. Lovely.
Okay, so I have I've broken up and made up with masking fluid a lot. We've had a bumpy relationship. So these are all the ways that I like to apply it. And since I'm an expressive, stylized painter, there's a lot of options. So we covered the toothbrush, using it to splatter, but you can also buy splatter brushes, and these work wonderful for taking the masking fluid and splattering this way to make fine mist. And also you can go like that and get like globs. We covered the ruling pin, and thank you, Lauren. I'll be looking for antique ones because the problem with the modern ones is they're always super rough. So you have to kind of sand them down, and they just are so sharp. And so I'll be looking for antique. Um, my favorite though is the aqua handle brushes, these chisel brushes. And if you go through your brushes, you might even have some already. A lot of manufacturers make them. And I like it because I can get a fine line. I can also get a drag it and use it in multiple ways for applying. And you can control the pressure. So especially if you're masking on top of a color, if you're pressing with a sharp thing, it's going to change the surface of the color. So having something smooth to apply. Other things, we talked about the toothpick. These are the ones that are sharp on one end. So you can use palette knives, you can use popsicle sticks. You can really get creative with how you use and how you apply it. But what I would challenge you is, if you ever are painting in a more stylized, abstract, that kind of thing, is to think about your line weight. So even when we're drawing, for instance, you have your thin lines and your thicker lines, your heavy lines. Well, the same can be done with your masking. So for instance, if I only used one tool and one width for all my branches, let's say, it wouldn't look very natural because trees' branches are not all uniform. So just think about having some variation. And lastly, you can use some old brushes. I find the trick is to have some soap, paintbrush soap on hand. And as soon as you're done with the masking, you give it a good wash. And if you take care of your junk brushes, they'll last a really long time. I would never recommend using natural hair or expensive brushes. These are just some little synthetics. And I'm going to put some paint over this really quick, but as far as removal of masking fluid, there's two artists that use probably as much as Lauren does. It's Leslie Lambert and Ryan Fox. They do watercolor pouring, and they'll use the ball of masking fluid that's been removed, and they just keep growing it and growing it and growing it. And that ball of masking fluid is actually what they use for their masking removal.
Oh.
So you can paint, right over the masking fluid when it's dry.
Is that like when we made a rubber band ball in elementary school?
Yes, same. Same.
This is my masking fluid collection.
Yes. Yes. I love it because, by the time they're done with all their successive pours, the whole paper is covered in masking fluid. And so then when they remove it all, it's just the great reveal, right? So one other thing is, when masking fluid can also be a deceiving love, because you'll think you're getting along great. You think everything's perfect. You've applied your masking fluid. You paint it. It still looks wonderful. And then that moment of removal, when you start to remove the masking fluid, that's the true litmus test on how well you're applying the masking fluid. The number one thing I see people make a mistake is they rush their application of masking fluid, and then they're very disappointed when they go to remove it. So I love that Lauren referred to it as drawing with it. He draws with the ruling pin and is intentional with it. So I think this has been a really good session of advice. So like Sylvia, when this is dry, I can pull the masking fluid off, and if it's after we close out, I can post it online. Did you guys want to see any of the applications?
Please.
Was there any in particular that?
I want to see how you use the back of the paintbrush, if you don't mind.
Sure. So my favorite is this little 1/4 inch square by Princeton. And the reason I like it is the size is just right. So you can apply it in a very fine line, but you can also drag it. And the neat thing is that if you drag it with a little bit of speed, you can even get a little bit of the look of like when we use a dry brush. This is a little bit, I have an old tube and a new tube. Let me get the more watery one. There we go. Also just using a bottle cap as a dip. So I'll show you how you can get a nice line. And then one other thing is for large areas, when you're going to be masking a large area, if you're using a ruling pen or something like this, it can kind of scratch the paper. So I'll finger paint. I'll fill in so it's nice and smooth and not clumpy. Like say I was smoothing in or masking a large area, I'll mask it with my finger to get a nice level application, and then I'll switch to the ruling pen or the aqua handle to get my lines just right. And then earlier I mentioned the wibble wobble. And the wibble wobble is when the masking fluid dries, it doesn't always dry completely straight. It's like it kind of shrinks in a little bit, like Elmer's glue did when we used to watch it on the back of our hands dry. So sometimes if you want those meticulously beautiful straight lines, like for realism, you can even double check them before you do your paint. So I think my best advice of all, just like anything in painting, is to practice a little bit first and try things out and get your dexterity for it, and then work on a painting with it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are here, but I tried to do some fireworks. And there.
Wow.
Oh, those are looking nice.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Wow,
But yeah, I did a couple of errors, like Lauren said, about
That's wonderful,
leaving
Anna.
blobs and not being very even. But I think it's okay. So
It's really good. It's really good.
and also, if I may share another beginner's error of what they were saying, I thought at one point it was expired going bad. And so it's a sketchbook. And so this is of not leaving your masking fluid for more than 24 hours because you will never. Oh, it is happening. Maybe leave it for a year and next year it will start coming
You're
like
actually
that.
you're duplicating your work.
So
print.
this is, beginner's errors, but I thank you so much for, especially Lauren and Gio. Wow. Wow, everybody. And if I may ask of Angela, I wanted to ask about the brush stroke. Did you do it with a brush and just left it like a dry brush?
Which one? This one?
The one because it seemed like a dry brush with the masking
Which
fluid.
one? This one?
Maybe.
Can you
because I think that combines with what Lauren said about drawing, and just like painting the masking fluid. And I thought it was, sorry, and I should use this for the example.
It was applied with the brush. It was like
nice.
with the brush, painting with the brush. Yes.
And I should say, okay.
Yeah, it made this shape, and so that's why it has the effect of a dry brush. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. I did this with a ruling pen.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you for letting me share. Thank you, everybody.
Very nice, Anna.
Thank you.
So you have one article to stand by.
I am highlighted. So as I mentioned, sorry, I didn't have in stock the masking liquid to show it, but I suppose you remember the portrait that I did before 2 weeks.
We do.
And you remember the beard. So in this part of the beard, I only used, before I used the masking liquid, I painted with the masking liquid, just with that architectural tool, I forgot the name, that Gio was showing perfectly. And then I used only lunar black. And of course, after it got dry, I just removed it and it looks very beautiful. I'm gonna just bring it more closer, and it makes very nice structure. You see the structure I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
But it's only 2 products, the masking liquid, and you see it also in the hair, very simple as all of you amazing artists that you showed. So I have used here and in this part of the hair. Of course, here with the eyeglasses. And I'm sorry for tonight that I didn't have it here to show how I would be using it, but it would be same way as you guys did it, with those tools or with the brush. But as a few of you mentioned, you should be very careful when using the masking liquid by brush. You just choose one of your not so crazy expensive brushes, otherwise you will destroy them.
Excuse me, there is a question in Facebook. Carol has asked, has anyone used masking fluid with a stencil?
Not me, I never used it.
That's a good question. Maybe Buffy?
I don't think it is possible. I don't think it is possible because it dries very quickly, huh?
I think the stencil would cause it to suction it underneath it, and you wouldn't get the edge that you want it.
Unless, like Lauren, you put a penny, if you put pennies underneath like the stencil to lift it up slightly. But
if you hold it down really, really taut, and if it's something that's not precious, you could. They have what's called stencil brushes. Oh, where is it? Sorry.
Yeah, they're very stiff brushes.
Yeah, good stencil brush. And you can do a quick kind of dab. I don't know if you guys can really quick
That would work.
And it won't be perfect though. And you got to go fast because what happens is it'll dry. And when you pull the stencil off, then it will pull the masking fluid off with it. So if you wanted to do a couple little spots, you technically could, but again, practicing the technique and yeah, I'll put it in my stories. I'll paint over that and I'll put it in my story.
Thank you, Buffy.
You're welcome.
Sean, this was very good. Very good today.
Great session. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Lauren for joining us today, our guest
My
celebrity
pleasure.
of the
Thanks
day.
for the
Lauren,
invite.
that was excellent.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed you, Lauren.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And one last thing I want to say at the beginning before we started, Lauren made a comment that the reason he knows how to use masking fluid so well is because of all the mistakes he's made with it. He's made every mistake you can think of. And so that's how he's gotten so good. So remember, make mistakes and learn from it. And it's the best way to learn.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Now
so
I'm
much,
inventing
Mr.
new
Lauren, for
mistakes.
sharing this information. Thank you so much, Mr. Lauren, Master.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite to be with you.
Thank you, everybody.
I hope you come back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime.
Let's have Lauren back.
See you
Thank
all
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
It's Buffalo
Bye-bye.
Holy
Time.
Cards.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Tomorrow's
John.
session.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.